So to give my review of the Minecraft movie, I wanted to structure this in terms of 5 things I liked about the film and 5 things I didn't like as much. To start with the critical side first, I thought the opening sequence was a little confusing and even unnecessary. I do like Jack Black's character in this, but I just think in terms of the narration that he gives, it almost could have just been cut out entirely, and you could have just started with Jason Momoa's character introduction in this, and I think it would have just been better to meet Steve when he saves the group at night, and he could have just explained his story then. Another thing about this was that I did think it dragged a little bit, especially between the second and third acts. I think in terms of the side quest in relation to the final quest, a lot of that was just a little too redundant at parts. But besides this, I think the pacing is fine here. A third thing I think that wasn't as strong in this was that the ending was a little bit rushed. I do think that it wrapped up a little bit too quickly relative to the previous point. I think the second act maybe overshadowed the resolution a little bit, so the final battle felt a little too forced. A fourth criticism would have been the CGI in relation to the live action. A lot of that didn't really match or blend well at times. And I think this is really just due to half of the Minecraft world feeling a little bit too animated for live action, so it is a little hard on the eyes in that sense. And my last criticism would be that the film does come across a little bit too generic. The dialogue and the overall plot is a little bit too convenient and basic at times. And I would say that this really isn't too unique of a film besides just adapting the Minecraft game itself. So it does kind of feel like other fantasy-driven comedies. But with this genre, I don't think that's too much of a major issue. And to flip over to the positives of this film, the first thing that I really liked was the overall story. I thought it was simple yet effective here. Adapting something like Minecraft, which is a little bit more open-ended than most source materials, I think is definitely a difficult task. But I think the direction that they went with the plot was a good choice in terms of making a foundation for this film. Another thing I really liked was the subtle feel-good humor. This movie definitely is funny at parts. I think certain things do hit pretty well, and the timing is relatively good from a comedic lens. There is a lot of silly built into this, and my personal take would be that this was a fitting direction for this adaptation. A third thing I really liked was the casting. I think Jack Black and Jason Momoa are strong leads and make a good duo here. I think the supporting cast is fitting as well. My fourth point, this is a mostly uplifting and happy film, even though there are some slight conflicts. Nothing really felt too negative or somber in this, and I think the film does offer a pretty warm environment, and it is also nice not to really have to think too much when following this. And to give my last positive is that I think it does well in terms of appealing to a wide audience. I think the overall premise with the direction of the plot does well to really set this up. I think this film has a good balance of offering things both for fans of Minecraft and also just being a good feel-good comedy that can reach people who even aren't as familiar with the game or with the lore. So to give my overall consensus, I would recommend this film. I think that the good far outweighs the bad. This is definitely a fun watch, and I think it will be interesting to see if this movie does reach 8 billion in the box office. But feel free to let me know your overall thoughts on this film, and I'll see you later.